Good morning, church. Pastor Dave here. I want to take a few minutes to talk to you about our plan to reopen Sunday morning services for worship where you can attend here at the church. Now, last Friday, the governor of our state of Indiana came out online and told everybody his 5-stage plan to reopen businesses, the economy, and all that sort of thing. And so we want to respond to that. Part of what he said was this coming weekend that churches can begin to meet live. They can reconvene with some guidelines. Now, in light of all that he said, we've come up with a plan for Westside for us to reopen, and I'm going to tell you when that's going to be in just a second, but if you'd stay with me, I'll tell you all about the plan and what we're doing and why. So I'm calling this, the church has entered the building plan. I'm reminded during this time that the church is not a building, the church is the people, and we have continued to be the church, but we're looking forward to gathering together. And I'm reminded of this passage here in 1 Corinthians 14. It says this, let everything be done decently and in order, because God is not a God of disorder. So it matters to us that we do things orderly and properly as we gather back together. So let me summarize it this way, our plan. Let's wait until everyone can come back and that so it can be an enjoyable experience for all. Now, a couple things. Wait. We've been apart from each other for a couple months, but we still believe it's prudent to have patience in coming back and not be hurried in coming back. Now, we're anxious to see all of you and be together, as you probably are as well. I imagine Sunday morning church at home in your living room is good, but it's not great. And so we're looking forward to being back together like you, but we want to wait until everyone can come back. Now, when I say the word everyone, I understand that's I got to qualify that with it's going to be hard for some people to come back for some time because of issues, and I understand that. I just mean that broadly sweeping, and I'll explain in a minute. And we want it to be an enjoyable experience for all. We want Sunday morning to be enjoyable for everyone in the way that we come back. So with that in mind, let me tell you some of our reasons why we want to wait, and in a minute I'll tell you exactly when we plan to open. So here's some of our reasons. First of all, if we open now, not everyone can come. The governor has suggested, well, first of all, he suggested that churches don't reconvene, that they stay online for a time because gatherings of lots of people can be a breeding ground for virus, obviously. But they said, if you come back, we don't want anybody who's 65 and older to attend, or we encourage them not to. And we encourage people who have immunization issues, or you're pregnant, or a wide variety of things. They should not come back. So not everybody currently fits into being able to come back. And we're one big family, so it matters to us that everybody can be invited to be a part. Not only that, but not everyone will come back. Now, we did an online survey, got a bunch of responses, and it's pretty much 50-50. The half of people said, as soon as you open, I'm there. And the other half said, well, I'll wait a few weeks, or it's going to be a while, or I'm not sure. So we understand that not everyone will come back, and there's some real fear for some people. We totally understand that. Again, we're one big family, so we want to take all that into consideration. Also, let me say this, it's working. Online is working for us. And I'll tell you about that in a minute as well. But so it's a reason. It's not like things are broken right now. Things are working. It's different. Obviously, in the flesh is better than not in the flesh. That's one of the reasons why Jesus came to earth in the flesh. If it wasn't better, he would have just kind of done a Zoom meeting with all of the planet. But he came in the flesh because it matters. But currently, what we're doing is, in fact, working. Now, the suggested guidelines from the governor, there's a bunch of them. He's saying things like this, and he's not trying to hurt us. I respect exactly what he's doing, and he's not trying to diminish worshiping at all. He's just trying to protect people. And so here's what he's saying, that no one older than 65 should be there or with issues. When you come together, you should not, you should sit every other pew. Families should sit 6 feet apart, no nursery, no child care, don't pass the offering, no communion, no baptism, no coffee bar, no nurseries, no kids programming, none of that sort of thing. No shaking hands, no hugging, none of that sort of thing. And I understand why, but honestly, that makes it for a not very enjoyable experience on Sunday morning. I mean, it's still, we get to worship, I would suppose, but it's really not what we're aiming for on Sunday morning. And that factors in a little bit, obviously. Our reputation also matters, that we want to protect our reputation. So I'd be fearful if we came back too soon, that some would disregard those guidelines and others would want to regard them, and there could be some tension there. But along the way, we've had several other ideas that we entertained for a few days or a week that we might do like a drive-in service and some other things. And we decided not to do those. And other groups in the church, in the community who did that or around the nation got very, very bad press. And so we've learned our lesson. Let's be a little patient here. Let's not get out there and too far in front of our own ideas, because we want to protect our reputation. It matters. Our reputation does matter, and we want to be known as a church who's taking care of our people and is patient and prudent. And lastly, facility upgrades. We're doing some facility upgrades around here with our kids wing. Wait till you see it. It's awesome. And the cafe and a few other things. They're not quite done yet, so we want to kind of have a grand opening when that happens. And with some work, there's like some dust and debris around here that probably needs to be cleaned up when they're done, obviously. So that all factors in. Those are the reasons why I want to wait. Now, let me give you our specific plan is when we are coming back. This is probably what you've been waiting for the most, but you needed to hear all that so you know where we're going. All right, so here it is. Currently, we are not closed. We've never closed. We're very open. We're maybe more open than we've ever been. I mean, the church is doing fantastic. We are not closed. Actually, during these past couple months, we have surged forward. Now, I imagine for most of you, you probably feel a little disconnected from church these days, and I understand that. When you come back, we'll have some great reconnections. But in these days, we have surged forward. We've started a whole bunch of small groups, way more many groups than we had when we were meeting physically together. And that's awesome. Also online, and we figured out all the metrics on this. I'll share that with you someday, that we have more people watching online, way more people than attend here on a Sunday morning. And a lot of people, so that's working as well. We've done several community projects. It's enabled us to do some meal trains at the hospital, Sheltering Wings, Shepherd Community, some families in our community, a food pantry, lots of drive-by food pantry, drive-by prayer, lots of opportunities, and we've seized on those, and we're pushing forward with those. Again, we've done some facility upgrades, because the time has provided us the opportunity to do that without people in the building throughout the week. We've been able to tackle some projects that needed to be done. One, we had like 100 feet of pipe underneath the gym that collapsed because it was so old, and we had to dig that up and fix it. And that was kind of convenient with no one being here, I suppose. Giving has remained strong. Your generosity has remained strong so far throughout this, and that's a testament to our church. That's part of the DNA of Westside. It's so awesome who you are. And God has given us a fresh vision for the future during this time. You'll hear all about that when we come back. We're not doing massive changes or anything like that, but a fresh vision for the future. We're calling it Good to Great 2.0. Just wait to hear this. God has been moving amongst us here at the church. So currently, we are not closed. So from May 4th, that's this coming Sunday, through June 7th, we're going to continue online worship. Okay? Just like we've been doing every Sunday morning online, we'll continue 10 o'clock every Sunday. We're trying to be done right at 11 o'clock. You'll continue to enjoy that. And small groups continue to meet. Now, during this time, we're going to ask small groups to consider to meet in person. So the governor said that you can be in groups of 25, obviously with social distancing, protocols in place. We're not going to make small groups meet in person, no, but we're going to let them know that now's the time where you could, as a group, talk together and see if you're willing to meet together. I know some groups have talked about meeting already in out in their lawn, on lawn chairs, like 6 feet apart, and have groups, and others are talking about different things at parks. Now, we want to leverage that during this time. You can begin to do that. I think even our pickleball teams might start coming to church and playing pickleball in their small groups because they're far enough away when they play and to practice those practices. Also during this time, Pastor Patrick's going to begin to connect with the teens one-on-one or in small groups all along, practicing social distancing, but it's going to give him a chance to be in their lives as appropriate and as parents allow, of course. And then we're working on the right time for a youth group to come back to begin to meet, but they also meet online Sunday nights at 8 o'clock. If you're a teen, check with them, be a part of that. It's great stuff happening, okay? So then June 14th, that's the next stage in the governor's plan. That's when we plan to reopen with limitations. Now we'll have service in the morning, and it'll all be online as well. And by the way, when we go to this, we're going to change service time to 10:45. That'll all make sense when you get there. But 10:45, it'll be online and live. And we will have all the social distancing stuff in place here at church as appropriate. There'll be like offering plates at the doors. So we have to sit every other pew for a few weeks, that sort of thing. And we may even have overflow in the gymnasium so people can be spread out. But we won't have nurseries. We won't have childcare. We won't have cafe for these beginning June 14th for a few weeks, just to get kind of in the groove of being together. Then July 15th. That's when we will kind of have the grand opening all back together. And that's the next phase in the governor's program, that we can kind of be free, and so that's our plan. Again, that's when we'll begin to open some nurseries, maybe one, maybe a child, one of the kids ministries. We'll have to see what the kind of the vibe is of the government, the state, the people. So we'll adjust as needed, but that's when we'll have a little bit more of a grand opening, knowing all along we need to be very flexible. And let me say this, everything is subject to change, as you can imagine. Things might change in the culture or with government officials or who knows, right, with the church. So everything's subject to change. These dates, they won't get moved up, but they could get moved back or they could be moved differently. So just keep that in mind that things could change. But that's our plan right now. Now, let me tell you what I need from you, okay? A couple things that we need from you moving forward from now. Keep connecting with each other. If you're in a small group and you're willing to meet together, do it appropriately. But don't leave those behind who still want to social distance. Make sure online is happening, connected with each other. And I'm putting this video on social media and on our webpage, but I understand not everybody's there. So please help me connect, especially with those who are maybe elderly and may not, have a Facebook page or people just let them know the plan. Help me communicate. I need your help with this. Don't assume everybody knows. I'm not going to assume that. Let's just spread the word as much as we possibly can. But keep connecting with each other. Keep watching online. I so much enjoy that so many people are watching online. Not only our church family, but we have people all around the nation watching, as many churches are experiencing, and we're surging forward with that. So keep watching, keep engaging. I'm sure it's different watching from home than live here in the sanctuary, but keep doing that for just a couple more weeks before we return back. Keep praying for your church, praying for each other, praying for wisdom for myself and our staff as we lead this time. So when we come back together, we've done it appropriately and with respect and with love for each other. Pray for that for us as we plan to return back together. And obviously keep giving. Keep giving. It matters so much during this time that you give strong so that we can be a strong church going into the next phase, as we might need to help more people or have more supplies and do more community service projects. Your generosity enables your church to be generous. Well, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for giving me your time. And I look forward to being back with you all. But again, we're going to be patient. We're going to honor God in it. And to God be the glory in all things. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.